What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. For those of you who may be new, my name is Eddie and this is Hustle and Grow. Thank you and appreciate all the new subscribers. Appreciate everybody that participates in the lives, watches the videos. I love to teach and have these conversations, and so if anybody's listening and getting something out of it, it's a blessing to me. Anyway, today is another day. It's Monday. It's the weekend wrap up. As far as my weekend, sales wasn't too bad, wasn't excellent. I had, I guess if I round up, $1,829 total in sales. And that's between all platforms. That's typically, actually, that's not, it's not bad, of course, it's not bad. It's not, I ain't gonna say it's bad, but it ain't as good as I've had over other weekends. Now, I will say this too. Some of that also includes my FBA orders. So that wasn't all orders that I'm fulfilling myself. So between like eBay, Amazon, and Walmart, it's those sales plus FBA sales. Because as far as Amazon went, I don't even know if I wrote it down. As far as merchant fulfilled orders, let me see. And I meant to write down, I don't know, I want to say 25 to 30 range, somewhere around there, man. When was the 17th? Was that Friday? Yeah, 17th was Friday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Yeah, so 30. All right, so 30 orders on Amazon merchant fulfilled that I had over the weekend. And actually a good portion of those, probably about a quarter of them, was multi-quantity. So that's pretty cool, man. That's what I like about Amazon and Walmart. You get the multi-quantity orders. I actually had a couple of multi-quantities on eBay too. We'll get to eBay in a second. But yeah, so a good portion of those, that total, $1,829 over the weekend. I will have to say about a quarter, 30% or so was FBA, because I've been getting everything in. And in fact, I got a shipment that as of right now is tracking as not lost yet, but everything else got to Amazon and checked in already. But this shipment says it's delayed. So right now it ain't Amazon's fault, but I don't know what UPS got going on, because all of these went out at the same time. And if I look at the tracking, I was trying to let it update, but right now it still says the last time it was scanned was Friday. It went out on Wednesday, and it says a carrier delay has occurred, even though the other two packages that went out with this same shipment already was delivered to Amazon. So I got to keep my eye on that. But yeah, that's some bull. I don't know what's going on there. All right, I was trying to see something else, but anyway, that shipment's missing. That's as far as that goes. Anyway, as far as eBay goes, I didn't have, sales wasn't that bad on eBay. I didn't have a lot. Let me see about that. All right, on eBay, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. 22 orders. Honestly, I didn't even realize it was that many, but it's about what I usually do between Friday and Monday. So, but I will say this too. It was, I had a couple of them was multi-quantities, and I had some higher dollar. A lot of them was higher dollar ones. I will say this though, some items that I sold that I didn't think was going to sell was like a garden hose thing. It's this metal garden hose holder. I actually sold both of them, and I didn't think they would sell this year, but they both ended up going to Puerto Rico. here's what I'm happy about, right? Because this was like a 4-pound item. Both sold around the $20 range, right? But I ain't gonna lie, ground advantage, cubic on pirate ship, yo, that comes in the clutch, man. With that shipping going to Puerto Rico, this 4-pound item cost me about $12 and some change. Otherwise, priority was like 18 or some crazy like that. I would have lost on that. With the $12 and some change in shipping, make about $5 or so, which is fine with me. I had them up on Marketplace at first trying to sell them locally. They never moved all summer. And finally I said, you know what? I'm gonna just throw them up on eBay, even though I don't want to because of the shipping. But I'm like, I'll take a chance. Both of them went to Puerto Rico, made about $5 or so on both. So I'm all right with that. Especially seeing how I didn't think they was gonna move until like next year sometime. I actually been getting a lot of orders to Puerto Rico for some reason. So I mean, eBay was cool, man. eBay was cool. Everything was cool, but overall, my sales weren't as good as like last week or the week before. I mean, it's still solid, right? I ain't got no complaints on that. One thing I wanted to talk about, I know we probably tired of talking about this promoter listing thing, but I do got to show y'all something, right? I want to show y'all something. And I was thinking to myself about this, and I want y'all to tell me what you think. All right, I want you to tell me what you think. So I have all these campaigns. I got 48 campaigns, right? I mean, it's just the way that I guess that they go in when you list, right? Some of the campaigns have one listing attached. Some have multi-listings attached, okay? Now, let me show y'all something. All right, so I want y'all to tell me what y'all think on this. You see, I got the dynamics, right? You go all the way up. I got the fixed. Now, in these fixed, I changed these names, okay? Because, of course, when you create a campaign, it just shows the date. I changed these to date, and I'm going to change the rest of these dynamics. So it goes fixed and all the way from 1 to 12, right? Now, these fixed campaigns are 5%, okay? That's all 5% promoted. These dynamic campaigns I changed to all 8%. Now, here's what I kind of really wanted to look at. I wanted y'all to look at. So if I scoot over, right, and you look at, what we're going to do is we want to pay attention to listings, listings, impressions, clicks, solds, right? Now, on these dynamics, these are all dynamics here at the bottom. Now, you see the impressions. Okay, you got 68 listings and 144,000 impressions there. You got some sales, cool, right? Of course, if you got more listings, you're going to have more impressions. Now, some of these campaigns also, the listings are empty, so like sold out. So like this one right here will be sold out. There's nothing there, so that one wouldn't count. Now, when we get up here to these ones, these are the 5%ers, right? As of right now, there's 751 impressions on this one with no clicks or nothing. And as we go up, all I have is 2 clicks on this one with 148. And now I'm not saying this is eBay's fault as far as the clicks and things go. It just depends on the type of item, I guess, right? But all I'm saying is I still do find it interesting you don't get at least a click, but there's many reasons for that. Not necessarily eBay's fault. This one right here, I think I just listed that one, so that won't count. Some of these top ones too, just listed, so I'm not going to really count these in. Now, the one thing I want to pay attention to are the impressions, and of course you'll have more impressions on these multi-quantity listings of dynamic or any type of ad rate than you would if there's just one, right? But that's not necessarily what I'm paying attention to. I will pay attention to the clicks, impressions, clicks, and solds. And now here's what I was thinking. Let me get off. So here's what I was thinking, right? Here, and this is why I started naming the fixed ad rates 5%, and I'm going to name the dynamics because I want to do 4 or 5 different types of ad campaigns, right? I want to do fixed. On my fixed, I think the lowest I'm gonna go is about 5%. And then I'm gonna go from 5%, maybe a 7 or 8%, and then probably a 10%, right? And its dynamics is going to be about the same. I'm going to do 5%, 8%, and 10%. And I want to have a good amount of listings on each of those. And what I want to do is see what the performance is of each of those ad rates. Now, here's what kind of stimulated this thought, because I was upset to my thinking, like, why is it that eBay doesn't provide this data in a way? Because I went through, right? I looked at the view reports tab. There's really not a way where you can see, there's really not a way where you can see how each ad rate is performing and have like a graphic metric showing you the performance of each ad rate. Now I know we just looked and it'll show you listings, impressions, clicks, and solds, and so on and so forth. And you can kind of, but what I want is, I want you to show me with a graph how my 10% dynamic performed compared to my 7% and 5%, and what the ratio of sales are compared relative to each other. Because for instance, I can have a fixed or dynamic rate that's at 7%, 5%, that technically has less, well, not technically, that literally has less sales, right? However, ratio wise, it could be performing better than even a higher ad rate. Now, I know there's things that go into this, right? Items, the type of item, listing. So I'm gonna say all things considered. There's a lot more to go into this, and it's not as simple. However, I feel like eBay needs to show us not just a suggested ad rate, but how each ad rate that we use performs over time. Because the fact of the matter is, if I'm getting the same amount of performance, if I can see that, like sometimes a lot of us, we don't want to do the math and all and mess with the numbers, because even when I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, I had to go to chat GPT. One of the things I put in that chat GPT is I went through each of these. I put in a bunch of those different listings, right? With the impressions, the clicks, and the sales. And I asked chat GPT, what is the ratio of sales to impression? Oddly enough, it didn't matter what the ad rate was, my ratio still was around 0.01% of sales to impressions. I don't know if that's good or bad, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I don't know if that's good or bad. I do know that my overall, as far as traffic goes, my overall conversion rate is 3.7%. It's 3.7%. And my click-through rate is 0.3%. But all I wanted to kind of know is sales compared to impressions, what is that ratio? I don't know what a good ratio is, but I think if you had a baseline that you can start off with and you can play around with your ads, you might be able to get, and this would be very specific for each store. So I don't want you to take what I'm saying and think that there's something good or like your store is better or worse than mine, because my stuff is set up totally different. And I sell things that you might not sell. Not only that, I structure my store in a specific way for a specific reason. So, but I'm only saying this for you guys to like maybe start thinking about these promoters, who, those of you who use it, those who don't, you don't. But to start thinking about it in this way. So if my ratio, and here's what I said to ChatGPT. I said, so I used one of the listings. I said, if I have 120 listings with a total of 307,725 impressions, 513 clicks, and 53 sales, what is the ratio of sales to impressions? Of course, it gave me the formula, and then basically it says, so the ratio of sales to impressions is approximately 0.000172. I mean, so if you round that, you're looking at 0.02%. But I didn't put in all of those numbers as far as the campaigns I had, but I did like 4 of them. If I was to round it off, they all pretty much came out to about 0.0 1 or 2% ish. Most of them around 0.02 if you round up. So if you go to that next decimal space over and you round up to 0.02%. Again, I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad. What I would like to know from some of you is, what is your ratio of impressions to sales? Impressions. I know you might think, why impressions? And there's a reason why I'm saying impressions, because impressions are basically how many people our items are being shown to, right? Again, I know there's a lot that goes into it. The type of item, the listing, it's because it's being shown. I know that. I get that. But everybody's store is going to perform differently, because this might be a number that we can control and increase, which I would say this was like a P&L and we was looking at expenses. This would be somewhat a controllable expense, right? This would be something that you can control, how many times people click on your listing when it's shown to them, if you can tweak some things, right? It could be pictures, it could be description, it could be title, so on and so forth. But getting back to what I was looking at and thinking about. So that means, so what I'm trying to see is these fixed ad rates. What I would like to know really, because the fixed ad rates, even though there's only one listing, the ones that have impressions, when I do the ratio is still about the same. Despite the fact that it's very low, it's still about the same as the campaigns where I have more listings with a whole bunch more impressions than the other. The ratio still is similar. It's similar enough that it's almost insignificant. I'll put it that way. And so basically what I'm trying to say is, I want to see, and I would wish eBay would show us data wise, what the difference would be promoting at any given rate over any extended period of time. I want to see that data, because if the data is similar enough, then why would I continue to promote at a higher rate? Y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, am I making sense? So if I go 5% over 2 months, 10% over 2 months, maybe I'll get more impressions. But if with the more impressions, I'm still getting ratio wise about the same amount of sales as I am with the 5% on the same type of store with the same type of items, what's the point in doing the 10%? And you can look at this kind of like as it is now, but I don't know about y'all, I'm kind of visual. So if I had a chart, it would be just easier to take in that data and take in that info, right? And then kind of disseminate it whatever way it needs to be. Put that out into your store whatever way you need to do. Maybe you need to make changes, maybe you don't. I think the most important thing though that I want to know is what the difference between the rates that I advertise at, what's the gap? What's the gap when it comes to sales with the same types of items? Hope that makes sense. And so I got the two campaigns right now. I got the dynamic and I got the fixed at 5%. My next is going to be a fixed at, I think I'm going to do 8% and then 10%, and then a dynamic at 5% and 10%. And I'm going to split them all up. And this is going to be a headache kind of, but I'll report it back to y'all. But I just thought it interesting that there's nothing on this dashboard or no report that will show me how, I guess, how my ad rates perform against each other. Because it's hard to tell just looking at them. You know, you see these numbers and it's like you got 400,000 impressions on 200 listings and with 600 clicks and such amount of sales. Well, you might think that's a lot just looking at the numbers. Those are pretty big numbers, right? But when you break it down and look at it ratio wise, then you might realize, well, that's really not much at all. And based on this ratio, it's the same or close enough to my 5% campaigns, ratio wise. That's what I'm kind of getting at, ratio wise. Forget, because it's easy to get caught up in the bigger numbers. You know, I got one campaign with 120 listings, 308,000 impressions so far, and 513 clicks and 53 solds. But you might look at that and think, well, that sounds pretty good, but is it really? Is it really though? That's on a 8% dynamic. Is it really? What if I had a 5% fix that had one or 1 to 4 or 5 listings, maybe a couple hundred impressions, whatever amount of clicks or whatever, right? You get what I'm saying? But the ratio of that was still about the same as the ratio of the higher dynamic promoted. Hope I'm not confusing y'all, because I'm almost confusing myself in a way. But ratio, that's what I'm concerning myself with. What is the ratio of my higher campaigns compared to my lower campaigns? And if that ratio is not significant enough, if there isn't a large enough gap between them, there's no point in doing the higher campaign. There's no point. If that gap isn't higher than a couple percentage points, there's no point. If I'm going to have 0.02% as a ratio, or 0.01%, or even 0.03, hell, if I ain't getting up in that 1 or 2% difference in ratio, there's no point. There's no point in going higher. I need a campaign with the same type of items, mind you, with the same type of items. For my store, it's typically the same types of items, and I get a lot of repeat buyers, and I get a lot of, well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but I get a good amount of repeat buyers, and I get a good amount of multi-quantity purchases, right? Because I sell so many items that are similar. So, I mean, for me, it's easy to gauge. All I gotta do is see what type of promoted makes sense. So I just wanted to put that out there for y'all. I am going to do the math. In fact, I want to make up my own spreadsheet because I want to see chart-wise the difference, and I want my chart to show me the ratio. That's what I'm concerning myself with. If I'm not making sense, let me know. If anything I'm saying sounds wrong, that's why I'm putting this out there too. If my math ain't mathing to you, then speak your mind or forever hold your peace in the comments, please, because I want to make this work, and I want this to be something where we kind of start breaking it down, and maybe, yeah, while I may sell health and beauty or a little bit of this and that, and you may sell in collectibles or books, what we can do still is come to a consensus that, and have some empirical evidence, right? Not just a bunch of conjecture and supposition, but some empirical evidence that, generally speaking, this is kind of the sweet spot regardless of category. Or generally speaking, even if you promote at this, it's pretty much going to be about the same as promoting at this. And we know it because we looked at the numbers and we see that. And I would suspect there's a reason why eBay doesn't want to make that information, why they don't want to make it easy to see, easy to break down and look at, right? There's probably a reason for that. They don't want us to know that. That's what I suspect anyway. But that's where I'm at with that, man. I'm gonna make my own spreadsheet, and I'm gonna try to put it together where it shows me the ratios of my campaigns, and that way I know what campaigns work best, or which campaigns work good enough. And why would I give them 8 or 10% if a 5% campaign is only like 0.01% difference as far as sales go, or 0.02% difference? I'm not going to go higher unless it's at least 1%. I mean, you might say 0.0 this and 0.0 that all adds up. Yeah, but really do it. I mean, is it worth it though? I guess that's the point. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I think that would be for you to decide in your store. For me, unless I'm gonna get an extra percent off of going, I mean, you gotta think about it. If I go from 5 to 10%, I'm giving up an extra 5%. So why would I be okay with a 0.02% difference in ratio as far as solds go? Why would I can't be okay with that if I'm giving up an extra 5%. So if I'm giving up an extra percentage point, I need to get more than that percentage point back as far as the ratio of solds go. I think that would make sense, right? If I'm going to give you 2%, I need to see I need to at least see that 2% come back and sell at least. I mean, but that's breaking even. I don't know. I guess price wise, I wouldn't say price wise is breaking even, so that don't make no sense. But I would say this: if I go from 5% to 10%, and all I see is a 0.01 to maybe a 0.05% difference in my ratio of solds compared to a lower campaign, there's no point in me going higher in my promoted. Anything over a 0.5% might be worth it. Might be worth it. But it's kind of how the weekend went. Not too bad. Sales in Amazon been working out just fine. Walmart has not been glitchy. All right, so far so good. Customer service wise, I actually haven't had that many issues. I had a couple items that people say didn't arrive. 2 of them, tracking said delivered. So on eBay, I just uploaded the tracking. If you ever get an item not arrive claim on eBay, upload the tracking immediately. Because if you don't, it can come back and bite you. But those got kind of solved as far as eBay sided in my favor. The one customer, they actually refunded, they said. So probably that customer never had no issues before, I would assume. As far as Walmart go, on Walmart, if it don't arrive, you got to pay. What I do is I send them a message, tell them to look for it, so on and so forth. I never manually refund them. Walmart usually ends up refunding them. But the reason I do that is not because I don't want to refund them. I want them to have to go through the system because I don't know like if Walmart tracks this or how many times these people do this. It has gotten better. And Mike on Flipping Goodies was talking about this yesterday, I think it was, on his live. Has gotten better. But I hope that Walmart tracks these. So I kind of want them to have to go through Walmart for the refund because I want Walmart to track those that are kind of, because man, it used to be like every week, almost every day, somebody was talking about the item ain't arrived when the damn tracking is showing that it clearly was delivered. And I'm not saying something can't happen because it do sometimes, but not that much. I mean, it ain't even that bad on Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, man, you know, if your refunds is worse on another platform than Amazon, you know something ain't right. Because Amazon to give your stuff away, man. Now I just had Amazon give a refund $40 because they said it was delivered late. This is what I hate about FBA. Now, if this was merchant fulfilled, wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have gave them their money back, but I probably wouldn't even got that complaint. But with Amazon, you're just gonna give them my product and my money because they said they took it out of my account because it wasn't delivered on time. You kidding me? So now I got to file a case and see if I can get some of that money back. See, with merchant fulfill, you can file a safety claim, and typically you'll get about 90% or so of your money back. With Amazon, you got to file a case, and then, you know, depending on what it is, they'll tell you got to wait 60 days. So I have a folder in my Google that I use for Amazon, my Google email account. I got a few folders for Amazon, right? One of them is named Amazon Policy Correspondence. So that's where if I got any issue with policies or anything sent to me, I put it in that folder so I know how to follow up and it don't get mixed up with everything else. I got another one named Amazon Return Tracking. So that's the folder that I send any of those types of returns where they telling me I got to wait a significant amount of time to follow up. I put it in that folder. So that way I can go to that folder and remind myself to follow up because I got, as of right now, with that order and another one, that's almost $200 worth of product that Amazon basically just gave away to these customers and they want me to wait 30, 60 days or whatever before I can even file a claim and get any of that money back. So reseller, man, you got to stay on top of everything. You got to stay on top of your business. And you got to stay on top of these platforms. Don't let them just take your money. Don't be rude, but follow up with these people. Keep folders, post-it notes. I mean, if it was us, you really think they wouldn't be following up with us and taking their money out? Ish, man, look, they wouldn't wait 60 days either. Anyway, tell me what you think about my promoted listing thing. Tell me how your sales went over the weekend. Is eBay getting better? Is it looking more like fourth quarter? Or is it looking more like the blackest of Black Fridays? And I ain't talking about the good one. But I want to know what y'all think about my promoted listing experiment as far as ratios go. And have you thought about that? And let me know if you see anything wrong with what I was saying or how I was putting it and all of that. All right. Well, look, I'm going to get out of here. Talk to y'all again in a couple days. Have a good night. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Also, Wednesday night on the live, I'm going to start dropping the link in the chat. If y'all want to join, feel free to join. We can, just talk shop. All right.